Okay, so now that we've made our box of indeterminate size around our shape, we have calculated the volume that we're going to use. Now I've made a mark here inside of this that reflects where we want to pour up to. And it's typically a centimeter above the top of your shape. So on this one, you'd basically measure a centimeter above, the top of this shape right here, and the volume of basically that box there, minus half your shape, maybe minus the pegs or not. So we've got this shape here that we're going to pour a silicone mold for. You can see it's roughly conical with a tail wrapped around it and some whiskers. I'm going to call this a catty cat. So we've got the catty cat in here, and we calculated that we're going to use about 260 milliliters of silicone for that. So 260 milliliters is perfect because that means that we can use some smaller cups in order to mix. Now let's take a second and talk about what material we're using. This is a silicone. So silicone, at least this silicone, is a two-part mixture. You see that there's a yellow and that there's a green. This silicone is called Platsil 7325. It's made by Brick in the Yard Mold Supply. And the directions are really important to read whenever you're mixing silicones or urethanes. So for this particular silicone, the directions are shake before use. Okay, so I'm going to send that over to you to shake. And then you mix ratio 1A to 1B. So this is part A. It says that, part A right here. We're going to mix 1A to 1B by weight. We're going to combine proper amounts of A and B in a clean mixing container, mix thoroughly, scraping the sides and the bottom, and then pour into a properly prepared mold. Now, I want to be really clear that the silicone is extremely expensive, and so we want to use good chemical laboratory techniques when we're mixing this. That's good. I'll give you this one. All right. It's also really viscous, and so you need to be very careful when you're mixing it. A best practice is to mix 1/2 of your total volume by weight, and then mix the other half to figure out how to get to your total volume. Okay, so basically pour up to 1/2 your volume, which in this case will be 130 mils. Record that weight, and then go up to 130 on the other one. We've now mixed these. I've got some mixing containers here that neatly have the gradations. So I'm going to use my Sharpie, and I'm going to mark where 130 is on this, and I'm going to show that to the group so they can see what that looks like. Now, I'm going to use 2 separate containers to mix my silicone, to measure my silicone, and that's because I don't want to make any mistakes that would make it harder for me to mix. So by that I mean I'm going to mix into A. I'm going to have 1 container for A and 1 container for B, and then I'm going to mix them in a separate one. And that is because if I make a mistake in pouring my B into A, then I waste that entire aliquot. So I'm going to write A here clearly, so you can see that, and I'm going to write B on the other one. Okay. All right. So I have a scale here. Take A. I'm going to put it on the scale, and it weighs 10 grams, so I'm going to zero it. There we go. And then I'm going to take A, and I'm going to open it. Now you might want to wear gloves while you're doing this because it can be sticky, and and silicone also doesn't wash away with soap and water. You need to wipe it away with a paper towel. So you're going to want to have a lot of paper towels when you're doing this. And you're going to want to be very thoughtful about and deliberate about your movements. Okay, this is not the time to be clumsy, or it's not the time to move fast. Okay. I think this is the wrong size glove. Okay. All right, so I've got my my A. Can my partner check that this is A? Okay, thank you. Good. So now I'm going to pour it, and I'm going for 130 mils. So I'm going to pour basically up to 130 mils, record that weight, and then do another one. It's very viscous, and it is a challenge to pour correctly. I'm I'm approaching my mark, and so I'm going to slow my pouring. And then pull up, and then I'm going to wipe it clean because it will. I'm gonna wipe the lid. Put that aside and put the lid back on, and then put it aside. So you can stop the video.